In this video, we're going to cover accepting tenants with Section 8 vouchers and passing the Section 8 inspection. So let's jump right in. So once you've marketed your property for rent and screened the different prospective tenants, and you've landed on the right one, at this point, the next step is to fill out the paperwork from the local public housing authority, which the tenant and yourself will both fill out respective sections. The tenant will then take that paperwork to their caseworker, and the caseworker will then schedule the inspection. The inspection is where a Section 8 inspector comes out to the property, and along with you or your property manager representing you and the tenant, walk through the property to make sure it's compliant with all Section 8 guidelines. It's a good idea to also have your handyman present during the inspection so they can do any quick repairs needed and make sure everything gets handled in a timely manner. Now, passing the inspection is an absolutely critical step, something you must do. If you do not pass the inspection, you cannot participate. And inspectors tend to take their job pretty seriously, which as they should. In my experience, ensuring you pass the inspection comes down to two factors: preparation and your interaction with the inspector. On the preparation side, it's as simple as knowing what items are being inspected and proactively ensuring they're in the condition that will pass. Each public housing authority will have their inspection list on their website, and if for whatever reason it's not there or you can't find it, they must give it to you. This list will detail all the items by room that the inspector will be checking for when conducting the inspection. Basic general areas that are going to be inspected are the outlets, whether or not they're grounded, whether or not they're GFCI when near water. They're going to inspect whether or not the appliances are working if you're providing appliances. They're going to inspect the windows to make sure they open and close and lock. The doors to make sure that they open and close smoothly and lock. They're going to make sure that there's egress in each room, which is a way for someone to get out in the event of a fire or emergency. They'll inspect the floors for any damage, unevenness, or safety concerns. They'll ensure that the lights work. They'll ensure that the heating system works. As a landlord, you must provide heat. They'll check different parts of the structure, such as stairs. If there's a stairway with more than 3 steps, this will require a railing. They're going to check for any plumbing issues, make sure that there's a towel rack in the bathrooms, closets in the rooms, that the toilets are working, hot and cold water are working throughout the house. And they're also going to be documenting any amenities, appliances you're including. And that's going to play a role not only in passing the safety guidelines, but also in how they're going to be going about the comparables when they're determining what rent they'll approve for the property. So because this information is readily available ahead of time, it can be as simple as having your property manager go through it, do a check line by line based on what the items are on the local housing authority's list. They should also have a list of items that most commonly fail. This can differ by market. Could be the outlets in one market, windows in another. Whatever the case may be, going off of what they have and proactively addressing those items is the number one way to prepare yourself and ensure that you don't fail the inspection. In the event that the inspector finds something, which more often than not they will, even if you are prepared, having your handyman present enables you to quickly fix the issue. For minor items, often the public housing authority will give you 24 hours to fix it. As long as you can show proof that you fixed it within that time frame, you won't have to schedule another inspection. For more major items, it may require them to reschedule a second inspection, which can take days, if not weeks, to get done. So it's super important that you pass the inspection on the first go around. And being prepared is the best way to do this. The second area to focus on to ensure that you pass the inspection is your interaction with the inspector themselves as they're doing the inspection. Often what you'll find is people are unnecessarily combative or otherwise unpleasant with the inspector for no other reason that they're approaching the situation with the wrong mindset. The inspector is not your enemy, although it can seem like that at times. It's important to just use common sense when interacting with them and approach it like you would any situation Be pleasant and respectful so that it doesn't invite any feelings, personal issues that can affect how they treat the situation. Remember, this is a person inspecting your home. A person may be having a bad day. A person may be kind of grumpy. You don't want to do anything to exacerbate feelings that a person might have, because it end up affecting the inspection's results. Unfortunately, they're not always as objective as they should be. If they're having a bad interaction with you, they might be a little more stringent on things they otherwise wouldn't be. So use common sense. Be pleasant, be respectful. Show that you're serious about the inspection. Show that you take their job seriously and you take the inspection seriously, and that you don't look down on them or otherwise have some sort of disdain towards them. It seems obvious, but it's often missed, and executing here can go a long way. If you have a good rapport with someone and they feel respected and they don't feel like they're under attack, you'd be surprised at how much slack that person might be more willing to cut you versus a person who feels like they're fighting with you the whole time and you're being combative with them. So show some respect, use common sense, be pleasant. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't push back on items when things come up. Just still stand your ground, especially if you've done the work to prepare ahead of time. But don't go out of your way to do anything that might cause the inspector to look at your property from a lens that's disadvantageous to you. Keep the feelings out of it, irrespective of how you really feel about the person. Get in character and do everything you can to pass that inspection the first time so you don't have any unnecessary delays. Because once the inspection's passed, the rent reasonableness determination will be made, property and subsequent rent will be approved, and you will be entering into a contract with the Public Housing Authority, and the tenant will be signing a lease and presenting their security deposit. Before you can do any of that, you gotta pass the inspection. So make sure you execute, prepare, treat the interaction strategically, and set yourself up for success. With that, I'll see you on the next one.